Okay, moving on to section 2. In lesson 2, we're learning how to draw and edit our lines. So you're going to open a new Inkscape program and make sure you save as, and we're going to save it into your section 2 assignments folder, and you should call it lines 2. In section 1 we had lines 1, so now we're saving this one as lines 2. And as always, we should zoom page so that it fills up our page in Inkscape. And the first thing we're going to do is create a path. So when we create a path, it's any line drawn in Inkscape. So whenever we draw a line in Inkscape, we're creating a path. And I want to make sure my shape tool is on none for this. So I can use my pencil, and the instructions say to draw, well, actually the instructions say to draw a curve. So we should be drawing a curved line that looks just like so. And then after you've drawn one curved line, they have you draw 2 more curved lines below it. So they don't have to match exactly. We're going to actually go back in and edit those curved lines. And to edit these, we're going to use what's called the node tool. That's this over here on in our toolbox. Your node tool, if it's set up like mine, it should be the second one down. And you'll notice whichever line I have selected, you see all these different nodes show up. Okay, nodes are those little squares that you see. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here just so we can get a better look at what we're working with. Got my nodes tool selected. So you'll see all these little squares show up along our path, and those are the nodes. We can click on them, and I'll show you here in a second just how we can adjust them. But first, this is a few too many nodes for us to work with. So if I have my line selected and I go up to path, and I can go down to where it says simplify, and that takes away a whole bunch of my nodes, so it's not a crazy mess of nodes. Or you'll notice the shortcut, and a lot of graphic designers, which you are now, we like to use these shortcut tools. Just makes things go a lot faster. So I know that if I hold down Control plus L, it will give me the same effect. So, or I could just click it again, and my nodes get even fewer. So the more you hit it, the fewer nodes that you'll get. Okay? So we want to simplify our nodes until we have about between 5 and 10 nodes along our line. And if for some reason I feel like I want a node here, I can just simply double click anywhere on my line to add a node. Or if I decide since I added a node there, I don't need one here and I don't need one here, I can click on a node and hit delete. Okay? Or if I deleted one and I decided, well, maybe I want one there, I can double click and add another node in. So with my nodes, I can then edit my line. So by clicking on a node, you'll see these handles show up along the node. So if I move those handles, I can move part of my line. So note those little handles will show up on each side of the node, and you can just again use those handles to move and add some curvature to your line. You'll notice, so in between each node, we are editing line segments. Okay? Any part of the line between a node, from node to node, that's one line segment. So we're editing all these line segments to get our line to look how we want it to look. So I just kind of want to make a nice wavy type line. You guys can experiment for yourselves and create your lines however you'd like until you get your line to look how you want. And then you're going to do the same thing to your remaining lines. So we can select the nodes tool to view all of our nodes. And then again, I want to simplify my nodes by hitting Control L, or by going up to path and down to simplify. But again, I like the shortcut tool, so that's a lot faster and quicker and easier. And once I've done that, I can again select my nodes and start playing a little bit here. Maybe I want to go really sky high with this one. So you don't have to just move the handles, you can move the node itself to adjust it. And what I've been doing this whole time is clicking and dragging, but another thing you can do is use your arrows. So I've been clicking and dragging, and now if I really want a specific point, your arrows might be easier to get it to that point. So you can click and drag, or you can use your arrows to move all of these nodes. So go through and just kind of edit all your lines so that you get some nice curvature for how you want your lines to look. This one's going to be a little more extreme. Good. So when you're done, it should look a little something like this with 3 of our curved lines. And make sure you save that, and that is one part of, again, that should be saved as lines 2 in your section 2 assignments folder. And that is one part of our 1A, or 2A, excuse me, assignment. For the assignment in lesson 3, we're going to open a new Inkscape window. And this time we're going to make sure we save this as, and we're going to call it curves. So in your section 2 assignment, call it curves and save it in there. And I always like to zoom page to get it all in my window. And this time we're going to be using what's called the bezier tool, which is this tool right here. We're going to use this tool to draw some straight and curved lines. So we have that tool selected, we get over on our canvas, and we can click to start a point, and it looks a lot like our pencil tool at first, and we can click again to end a point, but you'll see that the line still stays connected while I click. Okay, so in order to end my clicking, I could hit enter, and then it finishes the line for me. So for this assignment, I'm going to get rid of this for now. We're going to have our bezier tool selected. You're going to click once, and then come straight up and click again and hit enter to end our line. And then it has you experiment a little bit with clicking on one of the nodes. So you'll see we have a node here at each end of our line. So you're going to click on a node and you can expand out from it. And then if you hold control, you can do that 15-degree angle movement. And I want to get rid of that one line. Then it has you click on the node in the bottom, and holding control, you can go straight up and enter to end that line. And now we're going to use our bezier tool to draw some curves. So if we click and drag, you'll notice, and let go, you'll notice a curve that then follows your mouse tool. So once I click again and drag and click and drag, you can see you can add to this point, and you'll see these handles that appear. Okay, and then you rotate. This is like the nodes. You use those handles to rotate and get the curve that you like. So again, you click and drag and click to curve, let go and click again to set another curve, and adjust your handles to get the curve that you like. And hit enter to end it. So now I'm going to add a sharp corner node and get rid of that design. Don't delete all your designs because I need to see them for your assignment, but I just wanted to make a little more room. So I have my bezier tool selected, and if I click and drag and make the curve I want and click again and hold shift, when I hold shift down, you'll notice that the curve stops and I get a straight line wherever it is I want to go. So then if I release and click again, I can adjust my curve. If I hold shift, I can make a nice straight line again. And then I can either double click or hit enter to create my end node. We can go back and forth between curved lines and straight lines. So if I were to start a line here, and you'll notice if I click and drag and release, I have that red curve, but if I hold down Shift L, it makes it a straight line. Okay, holding down Shift and L will turn that into a straight line, or if I hold down Shift U, it'll turn it back into a curve. Okay, so Shift L gives me a straight line. Shift U will give me a curved line. So you let go of, once you hold Shift U and let go, you can go back to using the curve again. Or Shift L will give me a straight line. Shift U allows me to curve it. And hit enter to end that. We can also add to an already existing path that we've created by clicking our bezier tool and then clicking on the node, either the end node or the beginning node. And by clicking on either node, we can then move it back towards the other node, and we can click to complete the shape. So if you're by clicking one node and creating a path that goes back up to the other node, it'll close off that shape to create a full shape. So once you've done that, make sure you are saving this file again as curves in your section 2 folder, and we'll be ready to move on to lesson 4, and I'll start this in another video. In lesson 4, we'll work on a file. We're going to reopen lines 2 and make some style changes to that.